How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Arthur Szyk. Probably butchering that name as usual. Let me know. Comments down below. Phenomenal artist, though. Wonderful. He did a ton of World War II posters and propaganda stuff, but also illustrated some Arabian Nights and some Canterbury Tales and just some wonderful, wonderful pieces. He really has that kind of a mix of the golden age of illustration with medieval European sensibilities, and I really love his stuff. He has a sense of caricaturization, yet still keeping his characters feeling plausible as well. Just gorgeous stuff. I really loved these ones from the Canterbury Tales. I thought they were great poses, really intricate detail. I love how much information he gives on each one. You can see just the ornate clothing and weaponry and shields and accessories and everything that each one has, and then each one has its own kind of personality and great silhouette and posing. It's just a phenomenal talent. I really love his stuff. I think that he's got it kind of feels like there's a little bit of, if you would push him further, he'd be kind of in the Jack Davis camp for some of his stuff, or the Mort Drucker stylings if he went like a little bit further. And I personally like a little bit more pulled back along the lines of this, but I could definitely see where you could push some stuff to get into that really overly caricaturized personalities and everything. But again, a wonderful talent. I hope that you guys check out more stuff from him. Excuse me. I'll throw a link in the description below if you guys want to check out. I mean, just look how great this guy is. Love this. Love this. It makes me want to just study his work a ton. But I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from Arthur, and he said, "Art is not my aim, it is my means." I thought this, I was contemplating not sharing, I don't know what that was, not sharing this quote, because I'm not sure exactly how to process it myself, but I thought it was interesting, and it caused me to think about it in depth. Because what is he trying to say here? Is he trying to say that it's his means, as that's his living? So to make art isn't what he cares about, it's about making a living. It's one way you could take it. It's interesting because he was very prolific, and he worked for governments, he worked for private companies, he worked for publishing houses. He had a very wide array of people that he worked with. So obviously it was what allowed him to live. But I like to think about it as that art is not his aim, but it is his means, as it's a means to express. It's a tool in that regard. And there's a couple different definitions for the word means as well. But I thought that was a really interesting quote, and I like how he said it because it leaves it a little ambiguous, so it causes people to think. So I guess, got to figure out what your interpretation of it is and how you feel about stuff too, because obviously you want to be able to sustain yourself so that you can have some semblance of food and shelter while you create. But I think, for myself at least, that is secondary to the other stuff. So let's go ahead and get into some animation before I ramble on too much about how wonderful he is. Man, and the idea of having the little chef's hat tilted over to the side, just a wonderful, wonderfully creative solution. We're going to continue on with our skirmish shot. I think we're going to break down the faces is what we kind of left off with yesterday. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video compilation, hangout time, whatever we want to call this. And we're also using the Goon rig from the How to Cheat in Maya series as well. There will be links down in the description if you guys want to check that stuff out too. So let's carry on here, and let's turn our nerve curves on and start hiding some stuff so we can get back into here and make sure that we have our controllers all here. And we're just going to save this off one more time. Remember, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often because things can happen. And it's always good to kind of back up your stuff as well. So we're going to continue on with our facial animation, at least doing some keys. I want to finish up on character on the left and then do some on the character on the right. And chances are just doing the keys and maybe a couple blinks will take the majority of our time for today. So let's see where we left off. I think we got this one in there, which was working all right. So we'll just kind of grab everything here. And I think I wanted to do kind of a breakdown pose here. That was our main key here. And then we had this one at about 98. So let's go into about 75 and we'll put a breakdown here. So let's get the eye controller, and we still want to keep it locked in to where he'd be looking at this character. And let's get some really focused eyes. This was another tip. If you want to make your character look like he's looking at something, put the eye controller pretty much right smack dab in the other character's face or in the prop's face or whatever it is that you're looking at. And that's how you can really get those eye connections looking there. So it doesn't look like he's looking over it or under it, but you're looking directly at it. And let's go ahead and bring this down. This is going to be really focused. Again, not necessarily angry, but just focused on one. You can have a hint of anger here, but we really want to have intent focus going on for this kind of expression here. I think maybe we'll open the mouth a little bit more here. Again, this is just, it's not really a full key change. We're kind of just going in between here and doing more of a breakdown. So it's still sort of favoring the previous pose, but it's a little bit more interesting. So I'll go ahead and set that. And go, where are we here? Jump down. I'd like to kind of get the head looking a little bit more up here if we can. Should be rotate Y. So it's looking a little more there. And let's look at how that plays out here. I'll go and delete that one. And let's go ahead and push it so he's still looking a little bit more there. Probably let this even be further here, just so we're kind of keeping our eye contact, or at least our head, where it needs to be here. A little bit of a pop there in our movement, but I'll keep it for right now. We just want to kind of focus on the expressions, but did want to make sure that we kind of get that head looking a little bit more, maybe even further than that, at where he's supposed to be facing, so he'd be intent on that. Maybe a little bit of tilt so that the chin, let's see, just a little bit more like that. So let's look at our X, Y, and Z. Here, so we'll go ahead and delete. Set that. We'll go ahead and delete this, that. start that a little bit sooner so it kind of holds into there a little bit more. Maybe try and blend those moves a little bit more. Let's just do a quick play blast and make sure that's not too jumpy there with that move. So what's that, 72 there till, just go through to 95. Just do a quick play blast, make sure that that's not jerking out too much. Alright, so just turn those off and pause this. Alright, I keep forgetting that's pretty quick, so it's not going to pop too much. Just wanted to make sure that the chin wasn't, and I feel like that's a little better. It looks like he's actually looking at where he would be swinging. Just adds that sense. And that's another thing that you want to try to do often is it helps character have a sense of thought behind him. So if you want to, let's say, here's my phone. Let's just pretend that it's sitting over here and I wanted to pick it up. I could just go like this and pick it up, but that's not really showing thought and directing the viewer's attention so much. So what I would do is you could do really blatant look, pick it up, kind of boring though, so I'd probably just, you know, do a quick glance or just tilt the head a little bit, because we as humans tend to not put a lot of energy into things if we don't have to. So this kind of idea doesn't feel natural, but just kind of, where is it again? Okay, and then grab it. So just so that you have that little sense of thought here. So by tilting his head a little bit more so that he's already kind of looking here at where he's going to be swinging at. And then we get there, the head still tilts a little bit more, and then it's tilting, looking straight at where it's going to be swinging at, trying to get that foot. And then again, we have that kind of direct line of vision by tilting the head there a little bit more. So that's kind of the thinking behind that. I know I said I wanted to do expressions, but this is bugging me too. That's the thing too. Sometimes you'll have an idea for how you want to approach a shot, and you don't want to get too lost in it, but I want to kind of drag these fingers a little bit more. So let's see if we can do a little bit more of that. So I'll go ahead and drag that, drag, drag. And I think I also want to lift him up a little bit. Let's see. Maybe it's just to rotate it back a little bit more. So it kind of favors there. There's a little more drag. Maybe a little bit more here as well. Delete that one. Try to get that a little bit cleaner. I think that's a little better. That is a little bit poppy there. It does kind of pull in a little bit, but I'm okay with that because it. Right. Let's play blast it again. All right. I think to favor the silhouette might be, and the negative space might be better in that case than favoring the arc so much. So I guess we'll keep it. Anyways, I need to focus on facial expressions here is what I'm going for. So let's continue with that. Don't want to lose sight of what we're planning on doing. And that's why it's always good to kind of build up a plan of action for how you want to attack a shot and get into it, so that you really can get in there and stay focused on what you want to be, because otherwise you could always get lost in fixing a million little things. So that's why at the beginning I try to say, well, this is what my plan is for it, and you know, be able to adapt as well. So if you really notice a big flaw that you didn't see before, you want to have time for that. But I always find that that's helpful for myself to kind of write down, or at least verbally kind of plan out how I want to work that day. Again, we're just kind of throwing in another breakdown. And let's look at the mouth here. Let's go something like that. Go delete this one. Yeah, we don't need to be getting there so fast, so let's go somewhere about 87 there. And let's see, go back to 194. I don't want to get so caught up in just this area. And let's look at just the jaw here, and then set it there. Actually, we'll bring that to about 96. Don't do that. Hold on. I'm trying to get a little bit of flop here. So like here, it would still be up and over, drag, and we'll really push this one. And then hit, what, 97 and about 95. So we'd have this one could even be further. Maybe not that broken. And let's get those eyes closed here. Because usually when you're falling or moving quickly, you tend to close your eyes during those big moves. So I'll make sure and key those. Okay. And let's make sure that we lock in the face there, and we'll build in our next key here. Okay, so go and set that. And let's go to about 122 here. Get the eyes up and over again. Looking at this character here, this eye open, a little bit down, a little bit more open on that eye. Let's see, push it over a little bit. Now I want to kind of favor this so that it's not quite, we can still see the eyes here. So maybe it won't quite have gotten up there just yet. because I want that other eye to go, and I don't want to start breaking down, because what I would normally do in another shot is push this eye so that we'd still be able to see it and it wouldn't get lost. But I don't really want to spend a bunch of time doing that just for this case, because we're not going to be really even seeing all this. I just want to build in some main keys here. So I'm going to let one of the eyes be a little off. Maybe I'll do that just for this one. And I'll go and bring that one up a little bit more. Okay. And drag the mouth a little bit over here. Down a little bit. Give it a little bit of rotate here. Over. Don't know that I want so much. Kind of a smile, so maybe we'll pull that down a little bit and over. And maybe a little bit of lip curl on that side. Yeah, let's look at those teeth. Teeth are a little too much. Yeah, let's pull this over a little bit, down, something like that. And bring these eyebrows down a little bit more. This one's down a little bit more here too. Works. It's not wonderful, but it's workable. If we want to try and get facial paths on the other character, we're gonna have to not be too specific. Wow, time flies today for sure. And now we're already almost halfway through our time. Wow. Alright, well, let's make sure we set that key here. Set that there. We'll delete this. Delete that. Let's go something more like that. And we'll set that one. Delete that. Into there a little bit more, a little bit sooner. We're gonna hold that. And let's go ahead and close the lips here. Zero that out, zero that out. And just kind of another breakdown, I guess, in between those two poses, so it's not just pouring in. So we have that, closes, and then goes back up. Okay. And let's get those eyes back here. Back together again. Don't like cheating that too much. Comes with a, you get the eyes like kind of rolling around in the head too much if you do that, but occasionally on certain poses you wanna, that one looks like he's not quite all there. So let's get his eyes a little bit more there. And then I think, didn't we do a facial pose right around here or not? I guess not. So let's go ahead and I think I will kind of keep a little bit of a smirk for this part, because he kind of knows that he's going to win here. But he still wants to have a little bit more toughness to it, because he knows that it was a hard fight. So we want to have kind of the same idea, but a little bit more. A little more grit there. So let's go a little bit over and up. I think maybe a little bit less lower lip there. And this one, we'll go ahead and bring it down, over. I'll just keep tweaking this until it looks a little bit better. And we'll drop that down and over. This could be a little bit more up here. And again, there are the Malcolm rig and like the Bishop rig, and there's a couple other ones that are really nice for facial expressions. The Goon rig is a little bit lacking. There's not that. You have to do a lot of work to get something halfway decent with this one, at least in the facial. I think the body mechanics, the Goon rig's one of my favorites to use. But as far as facial expressions, I definitely prefer some other ones. You can really push some stuff, get some nice eyelid stuff working and everything in other ones. And there's just more manipulators, and they work a little bit more fluidly. Or you see there's kind of just some jankiness, like a lip wouldn't have 3 specific sections to it. It would flow pretty well. So there are a couple things that are lacking in here that do kind of drive me crazy, if I'm going to be honest, with trying to get good expressions and everything in there, but we can make it work. So again, I'm not going to do everything on ones on the face because it's not even really going to be seen, but we do want to get some. And then I think we can bring the eyes over so that he'd still be looking over and down here too. Probably a little bit further down. And we'll go ahead and get there at about 140. Maybe a little bit lower here. Maybe a little bit back. Just want to be able to see those pupils there. Yeah, let's actually get that about 150. And closer. What am I not seeing here? It's probably just because of the height change variation there, but still try and get it to work a little bit better. Again, remember this isn't really even going to be seen, but it's always good to try and get everything working just in case you're a director or you ever want to go back and replay with a shot or anything. You want to be able to move the camera around as much as you can and get as much stuff working as best as you can. Alright, let's... Why is that other eye just not coming in there? Alright, now we can see a little bit of it. Then we have a little bit of movement through there as well. Let's take where it is there and then bring 150 to about 140. Okay, that's a little better. Alright, so I think we did kind of a rough pass throughout everything. It's still pretty lacking, but at least if we want to get in there and do any close-up poses, we got something to work with there. So let's try and approach the other character now, because we're going to have to kind of jet through that if we want to do a full pass on here, so it can't be too particular here. So, forgot that I did pose already in the beginning. It's hard to push further than this. We'll have to see what we can come up with here, though. Alright, so I want to start, we got to start somewhere, so we'll start there. I think we'll go ahead and bring that jaw a little more closed while he's actually running through there. I'm going to try and bring that lower lip down a little bit more. squint the eyes a little bit more. Okay, now let's go ahead and tag everything here. Try to hit something at least every second or so, where we have a more interesting facial pose. Alright, so we got everything there. We got everything there. Go ahead and delete that, delete that, and delete that. And we got this. Okay, so we'll start off here and we'll kind of hold that for a little bit longer. So we have kind of a moving hold through there. Which we can hold for till probably about frame 1, so we have a little bit of a moving hold through there. Again, kind of just working within the confines of this first pose. Now here, I want to do something better, so let's take what we have there and move it back a couple of frames, so that I can get this one really working. So I want to take the eyes and push them up a little bit more. Take the eyelids and bring them in a little bit more intense. Go ahead and bring the jaw out a little bit more. Yeah, let's go and rotate up a little bit more here. Let's make those lower lips a little more exaggerated. Bring the corners down as low as they can go. Just kind of exaggerate these other poses that we have. Maybe push the mouth down even more. Works. So again, we want to key everything here and grab the eyes and make sure we key everything there. And bring those eyes down a bit more. Okay, so we know we like that. We'll go ahead and keep that. And then we're going to go towards kind of an exhausted, happy face after he throws him across the room. Because he would have been kind of proud of himself at that point. So I'll set everything there. We'll hold that till about frame 10. Hold on. Now, one thing I do want to do here is I think I want the head to look up first. So let's take this and have the head or the neck go up first here. So let's look at the rotate X here. So let's take that a couple frames sooner and have it look up. So it kind of leads that movement again a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set that. Go ahead and set 20, delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Set it, delete that, delete that, keep eye contact with where he's going. Alright, let's do a play blast of that and see if that neck works a little bit better. Okay, it's a little bit better. Just kind of have the head lead that lift up a little bit more so it starts the movement. I feel like that works a little better. And maybe we could do one other thing that I was kind of thinking might be a good acting note here. Like right around here we could do a little head nod. Maybe around 63. Should be almost backwards though. Let's see. Then we have to start it a couple frames sooner. Go back up sooner. It's a lot of information to throw in there quickly though, so gotta be careful that we're not doing too much. So lift it up. Down, up again. Maybe that's too much. Let's see how that plays. Okay, I think that works a little bit better. You see, you just got that light little head nod. Again, it's a little overplayed, but especially if the camera's any further back than this, we want to make sure that that reads. So it's a little played up, but I think that works. So let's go back to facial expressions now. Getting sidetracked with some other stuff, but I think that the whole idea of the head leading up, so the body doesn't go until the head starts, and then you get that little head nod, gives us another little acting beat there. And I think at this point we'll want to have better facial expression here, so let's push the eyes forward here, up there, and again, these are, you know, not as big of notes, but more acting beats and more subtle notes for our shot that help add a sense of personality and everything to our characters here. So I want to bring that in a little bit more. Actually, I'll keep that down. Get those eyebrows a little more playful. He would have just had a big striking blow to him, so I think he'd be pretty full of himself and ready for some more. Get that lower lip out. Maybe show a little more teeth here. Another thing we did here with this character is we jutted out the chin a little bit forward, just gives him a little bit different kind of facial setup than the other character there, so just another thing we can do to add some more personality here. And we'll even bring these up a little bit more and give a little, just a slight bit of puff to the cheeks here too. Again, you know, these are quick facial poses, but just something so that we can add some more, another level of personality to our character here. I think these are his eyes, if I remember correctly. Alright, so we'll go ahead and set everything there. And then where was our last pose that we had? I think it was somewhere. Where's 12? Let's see. It was about... This one was our main key here, so set that. I think it was a 2. Go ahead and delete this one. And where did we have this next pose at? Here. And let's just try and break that down a little bit more. We might need another key in between here though. Set that one. We'll throw a breakdown in between there. So one that's not quite pleased with himself just yet, but a little bit. And I'll make his eyes a little more, have a little more droop here. Because he did just do a lot of exertion of his energy here, so a little more of a neutral face here. Jaw closed a little bit more. Look at that lip. Okay, we can work with that. So go ahead and that. Hold that till about 45. Delete that one. Hit that one about 15. We have this here, where he's still kind of smug, and then gets a little bit of a smile here. And again, we got to bring those eyes up a little bit more. And then we're going to want to hold that expression for a little bit longer. Grab everything again. Go a couple frames away from it, so like 61, and hold that till, what, about 72? And we'll do pose at about, yeah, this is a good place to do one. And this would be like a big war cry pose. So this one will really throw the mouth open, like a big kind of yell. Like some kind of battle cry, war cry kind of a pose. So we want the mouth to be open, but I think we'll push it down over a little bit. Do a little bit of left and right there. And push that over just to get a little bit of asymmetry here. Where is our eye controller? Sit here. Bring the bottom lids a little bit lower there, just so the eyes are really resting on there, and then open the eyes as much as we can here. And go ahead and bring eyebrows up here. And down further. This one down. Down a little bit more. Alright, that looks pretty good. Use that for a key. So I'll grab everything here, and we're just gonna again set everything one more time. And I'll go through there, grab everything, set that, and then where do we have our last one? Right about 72, right? Okay, so delete that, delete that, delete that one. I'm deleting everything that isn't really our keys here. I'll go ahead and delete this. And let's take what we have at 74 and hold that till about 85. So we get a little bit of move there. And then, oof, do we go through the head? We might have to tweak that pose a little bit more. Maybe not right now though. Still trying to, see there's just this pose where we have it going through the head. And that's why, you know, you might think a shot's done from one camera angle, but then you're going to have to tweak things. But we'll see. We might address that, or maybe not. It doesn't really read through on the from the far angle there, does it? Maybe it does on that one frame. Kind of makes it feel like it's on the other side, though, but it might be something we're going to have to address at a later time. I want to try and get these facial poses in, and we still only have about 10 minutes left to try and punch out the rest of this stuff. So again, where are we at? Get all of this stuff in there. Okay, and I want to set that. His eyes. Yeah, they are. Okay, hold on. Set that at 88. And delete that one. Delete that one. Delete that one. For some reason we got off for a little bit there. So I want to kind of hold about 73 to about 83. Okay, and I'll step forward a little bit. I'll go to about 120 frames, just so I don't have a whole frame range of everything to look at here. So I'll set all of those. I'll go ahead and put in another pose here. Six, and this one, we'll put in another key pose here, bring the jaw down, bring that closed a little bit more, bring those lips down a little bit, and the middle there, bring the lower lips down, or maybe up a little bit like that. And where's my eyes here? Up a little bit more, and over a little bit. And bring the lids up a little bit more. always like to set the pupils resting on the lids as much as I can. It looks a little too tired, so we'll keep them open here. We want a little more relaxed in this, so we don't need the eyebrows going full tilt here. Down a little bit more, and that down, that one, down a little bit, bring those up. Yeah, it's still pretty intense. It's still a fairly good pose. Not perfect, but if we want to try and bust through all these, we gotta go through and not spend too much time on any one pose there. Okay, so we'll set that one. Set that one, go here, take 90 till about 93, and delete that. Actually, maybe only about 91, and we'll get 99, a little bit closer there. Frames sooner than that. Go and get rid of that one. Bring that a couple frames sooner. Okay, we'll set that, and then we want to go again to where's this one. Move the jaw a little bit. Bring those eyes. We want to keep them looking at where we want them to hit. Let's do crazy eyes for this one. This would be, he's trying to hit him again, so he may be going a little insane here. So I'll go ahead and bring that up even more. And maybe some wild happiness to that face too. Try and get a little bit of a smile in there. Down a little bit more. This one's kind of just like a crazy, ready for battle face. A little bit psychotic, kind of jokerish, I guess. A little bit. Alright, those eyes. I think that looked a little too bugged out there. Go bring the cheeks up here. Over and that one over. We'll unpuff that a little bit more. Maybe bring those eyebrows a little bit further down. Really push this expression. Keep those, a lot of whites in these eyes. Show a kind of berserker stage that he's getting at there. Okay, that'll work. So I'll go ahead and grab everything here, and I want to set another key. Go ahead and save our file too, why not? Okay. And And remember, save multiple versions and save often. Can't say that enough. Because if we wouldn't have saved here, I think our last one would have been before we even did anything on this character's face. So we would have to go back and redo all of that. So it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often. I know I say that a lot, but it's because it matters. Okay. Again, I think I must have grabbed something else here. So I'm just going to reselect all of these. You see there was some other controller I had there. Alright. So I think, what was that one? 15, that was our main key. Okay, delete that one. Take 103 and hold that till about 110. Let's go on to about 140. Let's go delete that one. I think the eyes are a little too pushed over that way. Let's put in a key right about here on the face. I think that's what other characters' eyes were, weren't they? Right here, right? Get this jaw here. I think let's go ahead and close those eyes. And actually, maybe we'll leave one of them open, one of them more closed. Take that jaw a little bit more, because it would have just been punched there. And get the lip over, the corner of the mouth down, over. And get the eyebrows up at this point. You always want to kind of get a wave through the eyebrow. And it feels a little too happy, so let's try and tweak that out of him a little more. So let's look at those lips. Those cheeks pushed up and over a little bit. Okay, so we'll go with that. I'm gonna have to do a breakdown in between that last hammer hit and this one as well, though, because we're gonna not really want to hit this facial pose really until after that hit. This is pretty pushed here. So we'll set that. Go 6 is our key, so we'll delete this one, set that one, delete that one, delete that. Again, we're not doing anything really except for our main key poses here. Delete that one. And we're going to need to try and do one more breakdown here before we get in there. So this one, keep kind of the crazy eyes going, maybe a little more rested, so not as extreme. Bring that down a little bit, bring these up a little bit. Okay, we'll keep this. So we can kind of hold something similar to this. Because we still want a little bit of movement in the face. And we're going to need to do the same with the eyes. So there. And we're going to want to hold that till about 124. And we can push them so that it'd be looking, oh, just want middle here. Right over there. Let's maybe let the jaw open a little bit here. And then we'll go ahead and build in our last final key pose here. Which again, we don't really need to do too much with because it wouldn't even be seen from there, but I still want to try and build it in where we can. So let's go ahead and drop the jaw here. Get that eyebrow up, up. Try to find where the eye controller is there too. Down and over a little bit, get that up and over. The jaw moved a little more left. Still try and cover that so that the, see that sometimes the teeth will bleed through. So I might have to do something a little bit and rotate here. Or just pull it back a little bit. Take a couple steps back. There we go. Might just not have to be able to do that idea. Yeah, what might be kind of fun too. Oh, come on, where are we? Is to get the tongue hanging out if we can. Let's see. And can we scale it up? No, it doesn't let us. Okay. Thought we could do a little bit of something there. And then we gotta find where we last left that eye controller here, which I think is gonna be up there. And let's have those eyes roll back in the head kind of here. something a little goofy here. I'll have one go this way, and one go that way. Maybe not as extreme. Should work well enough. And let's look at the eyelids here. And this one. Keep it open. That'll work. So let's grab everything again, and we'll just work between those two keys there. So we had, I think it was, what, 126? Make sure this is the right eye controller. Okay. 126. And we'll go ahead and delete that. Delete that. Delete this one. And then set that. We'll hold that till about 132. Jaw, dragging backwards. And where's that eye? Is it over here? Non-visible. Okay. Just keep breaking this down a little bit more, making sure we're getting rid of any extraneous frames, and then kind of favor one pose to the other. Okay. So I know we have 126 was our key there, and then I think we had 130. 140. So I'll delete that one, delete that one, delete that. And then hit like 139, about 134. Okay. Alright, we're probably close to our time. Oh yeah, definitely went over our hour allotment for the day, but I think we got a couple fun ideas in there. We definitely directed the head movement through here, so he's looking there. We tweaked up in this portion, we added that little head nod and had the head lead on up there, and then we got some key facial pose pass on everything working. So I think maybe one more day, 2 more days on this shot. We'll see. Go ahead and turn our nerve curves off, and we'll do a play blast, and we'll wrap it up for today. I think that'll good pass. Oh. All right, so we got some good stuff working in this one. Like I said, this pass, especially from this angle, we're not really seeing too much of the facial expression stuff, but it's always good to do. I try to get in and get as much detail into everything that I can, just in case let's say we just want to change the camera angle or something. Now we know that the information's there, and then we could polish it up further if we wanted to from that. And that being said, I think I still want to do at least another day of maybe 2 more days of just kind of polishing, going through, cleaning up a couple little things that are still, I think this first probably 20 frames, there isn't really that much movement on the character on the right, and like to have at least a kind of a moving hold through there. Feels like it's just a real abrupt switch. And then we have that one little part where the giant hammer is kind of intersecting through the head. And this is the thing, like, you could, at any point in this, we could just say, okay, we're done. But if you want this to be good, you have to keep going through your shot with a fine-tooth comb and going through every frame and just looking and looking and looking, and what can you do to improve it, and how can you make it better, and what kind of idea, like that little head nod that we added in here just adds that extra little acting beat to there. And now that we have, the main bulk of the information in there, now we get to go in and add the more subtle stuff, or the polishing stuff that's going to be not as main beat to the story, but just adds a personality or an extra touch or anything like that. But let's look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Arthur Szyk, and he said, "Art is not my aim, it is my means." And I think that's a great kind of decision. The way that he said it is kind of ambiguous, so kind of decide for yourself. Is it your means? Is it your way of expression, the way that you can get what's inside out there? Is that what you're using art for? Or is it your means, as it's your cash? You're doing it for financial reasons. I tend to think that if that's your main goal, something more lucrative comes around that lets you make more money, you might not stick with it. But if your end goal is just to express things and to share things and to grow and to show the way that you look through your perspective, the way that the world looks to you, then I think you're going to do it no matter what, even if the money comes or if it doesn't. So I think you gotta make that decision for yourself. It's definitely I wouldn't say that I have a definitive answer on this quote, or even a definitive perspective. It's more of a quote that just that stopped and made me think, what did he mean by this? So maybe you guys will do the same. Think about it throughout your day, something to kind of meditate on or have roll around in your head while you're working. But thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. I hope you guys are liking this series. I know we're getting a little more in-depth and a little more into doing some polishing and some more subtle movements, and getting into this kind of more nuanced stuff that even this, I'd probably spend another 20-30 hours myself on this. So I'm trying not to go too far into it so that it gets too necessarily boring or anything, where I just frame through and frame through and frame through over and over again. But I think we can still push it further and still have some interest here and some things that we can talk about and share together and look through together. So I really appreciate you guys. I think you're wonderful. Remember, if you're watching this, you are the creative future. So go out there and make something. I hope you carved out a little bit of your day towards working on your own dreams, mastering whatever medium it is that you're passionate about. And thanks for sharing some time with me. As always, the comments are free. Share whatever you want that you're working on down below. I'm happy to give you some thumbs up or give you an extra set of eyes on something. If you're looking for it, shoot me a message on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, any of that stuff. All of the information is down in the description down below. And I think that'll wrap it up for today before I ramble on for too long. You guys are wonderful. I love you lots, and we will see you for some more animation, some more imagination, some more creativity, some more just having fun and going on this journey together tomorrow.